Did you delete the photos? The truth that destroyed my life. I don't know who needs to hear this, but sometimes the person you sleep next to isn't your partner at all. It's a stranger wearing your partner's skin. And I learned that the hard way. This is my first time posting here, and I'm using a throwaway account. My name doesn't matter, but I'm 27. My girlfriend, or maybe I should say my ex, Mia, is 25. We were together for almost 3 years. 3 years that, in my mind, felt real, safe, and solid. The kind of relationship where you start imagining a future without even trying. We cooked together on weeknights. We spent lazy Sundays wrapped under the same blanket. We talked about kids, names, houses, trips. Sometimes she would fall asleep on my chest, and I would swear I had never felt anything so peaceful in my life. So when everything fell apart, it didn't happen with a fight or a betrayal or some dramatic moment. No, it all fell apart because of one simple message. 6 words that I can still hear every time I close my eyes. Did you delete the photos? It happened late at night. We were watching a show. She went to the bathroom and her phone lit up on the table. I didn't intend to look. I really didn't. But the screen faced me, and those words were right there, glowing in the dark room. I froze. My brain didn't even process it at first. It was like reading something in a dream, when you're not sure if the meaning is real. But then the shock kicked in, and suddenly everything in my body locked up. When Mia walked out of the bathroom, she saw the screen too. And something changed in her face so fast I still can't forget it. Her eyes narrowed. Her breathing hitched for a second. She grabbed the phone so aggressively that she scratched my hand. Not on purpose, I think. But the panic in her movements made it clear she wasn't thinking. She looked at me like she was waiting for an accusation. I opened my mouth to say something, but nothing came out. I didn't even know where to begin. The air between us felt suddenly wrong. Heavy, sharp, unnatural. And then, deep inside my mind, something whispered, "You don't know her at all." I should have listened to that voice. I should have asked questions. I should have confronted her. Instead, I swallowed it. I told myself it was probably nothing. Probably a work message. A misunderstanding. I didn't want to be the paranoid boyfriend who jumps to conclusions over a few words. But that night was the first crack in the surface. The first time I realized there were parts of her life she kept hidden. And once the crack formed, the rest of the foundation collapsed fast. The days after that message felt different. Not in a dramatic, movie-like way. More like the quiet shift in the air before a storm. Small things started to change. Things I would have ignored before, but now couldn't unsee. Mia began keeping her phone on silent. Not vibrate. Completely silent. She also stopped leaving it lying around. If she went to the bathroom, the phone went with her. If she took a shower, the phone was placed right on the edge of the sink, screen facing down. At first, I tried brushing it off. People value privacy. Everyone has habits. But this wasn't privacy. It was fear. She acted like the device could explode if she wasn't holding it. And every time a notification appeared, her entire body tensed. One night, around 2 a.m, I woke up and found the bed empty. Mia wasn't there. I assumed she went to the kitchen for water. But when I reached the stairs, I heard her voice. Not loud, but sharp. Urgent. "Stop calling me at night," she whispered. I said I'll handle it. Just stop. I didn't recognize the tone. It wasn't my girlfriend's voice. It was someone cornered, someone scared. She jumped when she saw me standing in the doorway. Her eyes went wide, like a child caught doing something forbidden. "What are you doing up?" she asked, completely ignoring the fact that she was hiding her phone behind her back. "I could ask you the same thing," I said. She hesitated. Then she forced a smile that looked glued in place. "My mom," she said. She couldn't sleep. She has been stressed lately. It was a lie, a bad one. I knew it, and she knew it. But I didn't push. Something in me still wanted to believe her, still wanted this to be nothing. But once you notice one lie, the next ones become louder. 2 days later, everything broke open. Mia was in the shower again. Her phone was on the bed. It buzzed once, then again. Then again, something inside me snapped. Not anger, not jealousy, just a need to know whether I was losing my mind. I picked it up. A message appeared instantly. "We need to talk. He can't find out." Before I even processed it, another one arrived. "Did you delete the photos or not?" My heart felt like it stopped. All the blood drained from my face. My hands started shaking. And then the bathroom door opened. Mia froze when she saw me holding her phone. For a moment, she didn't even breathe. Then her face twisted, not with guilt, but with fury. "You went through my phone?" she screamed. "How could you?" She didn't deny the messages. She didn't explain them. She didn't even ask what I saw. Her only reaction was rage that I dared to look. And that told me everything I needed to know. Something inside me broke. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just a quiet snap that felt final. I packed a bag that night. She begged me to stop. She cried. She said I was overreacting. But every word felt hollow. I left anyway. I didn't know it yet. But that decision, walking out on her, would be the reason everything spiraled into something far darker than I ever expected. Because Mia's lies weren't just lies. They were symptoms of a nightmare she had been trapped in long before I came into her life. And leaving her alone was the mistake that set everything else in motion. The night I left Mia's apartment after the confrontation, I thought things were finally quiet. Not resolved, far from it. But at least the chaos had paused. The truth was out, and I believed the worst was behind us. I didn't realize that the real danger hadn't even begun. For the next few days, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the messages, the photos, the way she looked at me with fear and guilt fighting inside her. I kept telling myself I had done the right thing, leaving her that night. But something in my chest twisted every time I tried to believe it. On the 4th day, after I left, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it ring. It called again, and again. Finally, I picked up. There was no greeting, no breathing, just a voice, low, calm, almost amused. "You think walking away fixes anything?" I froze. Before I could respond, the voice continued. "She's not safe without you. She's never been safe without you." Then the call ended. I stared at my phone until the screen went dark. It didn't make sense. Why would he call me? Why warn me? If anything, he should have wanted me as far away from her as possible, unless he needed me involved. The idea made my stomach twist. That night, I drove past Mia's building. I told myself it was to check if she was staying with friends, maybe with her family, anyone who could keep her safe. But the truth was, I just wanted to see some sign she was okay. Her windows were dark, no car in the driveway, mailbox overflowing. She wasn't home. I tried calling her. No answer. I messaged her roommate again, asking if she'd heard from Mia. She hadn't. And that's when something shifted from worry to fear. Mia wasn't the type to disappear without telling someone. Even in the worst moments of our relationship, she reached out. She cried. She begged me not to leave. She wasn't someone who vanished into silence, which meant something, or someone, was keeping her silent. The next morning, I searched everywhere I could think of. Her work. No one had seen her in days. Her gym. She hadn't checked in. Her social media. Inactive. Her family didn't know where she was. Every road led to the same place. Mia was gone. By late afternoon, I felt like the world was tilting. I kept thinking about what her roommate said, about the warehouse, about the man who had controlled Mia for years, about how he never let go of things he believed belonged to him. The thought of her being with him again made my chest tighten painfully. I was sitting in my car, staring out the windshield without seeing anything, when my phone buzzed. A message. No name. No intro. Just a photo. It showed a hallway, dimly lit, concrete walls, and in the center of the frame, Mia. She was walking away from the camera, bare feet, shoulders slumped, her hands behind her back, like they were tied. My breath caught in my throat. Below the photo was a single sentence. She's waiting for you. For a long time, I couldn't move, couldn't think. My entire body felt numb, like the world had frozen around me. Then another message came through. It was an address. Not the warehouse. Somewhere new. A place I had never seen before. A place I knew I shouldn't go. And the moment I saw it, I understood something I didn't want to admit. This wasn't about Mia anymore. This was about me. He wanted me there. He wanted me involved. And I knew, with absolute certainty, that if I didn't go, things would get much, much worse. I stared at the address on my phone for several minutes, trying to convince myself it wasn't real. Maybe it was a sick joke. Maybe someone was messing with me. But deep down, I already knew the truth. The photo of Mia wasn't staged. Her posture wasn't fake. The exhaustion on her face wasn't something you could act. Someone had her, and they wanted me to come. I typed the address into my GPS and drove. It was almost sunset, the sky turning orange and purple, but nothing looked beautiful. The world felt muted, like someone had turned down the volume on reality. The location led me to the outskirts of the city. Industrial land, silent and empty. Rows of abandoned buildings, cracked roads, flickering streetlights. A place no one would think twice about. A place people could disappear. My heart hammered as I parked the car. The building in front of me looked old, with boarded windows and rusted metal siding. But one door, just one, had a faint light leaking from underneath. It was the same light I saw at the warehouse before. A sickening déjà vu. I approached slowly. Every step felt heavier than the last. My breath fogged in the cold air, and my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I kept imagining what I'd find inside. Mia tied again, hurt, terrified, or worse, silent. I reached for the doorknob. It wasn't locked. The moment I stepped inside, a smell hit me. Damp concrete, old machinery, and something metallic. The light came from a single bulb hanging at the end of a long hallway. The silence was so thick that even my breathing sounded too loud. Halfway down the corridor, my phone buzzed. Another message. Don't run. I froze. He was watching me. My eyes scanned every corner, every shadow. The walls felt like they were closing in. The air grew colder. Then, from somewhere deeper inside the building, I heard something. Footsteps. slow, measured. I followed the sound, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. And then, around the corner, I saw her. Mia was sitting on the floor, her back against the wall. Her hands were tied, but not tightly. More like someone wanted her restrained, but not harmed. She looked up when she heard me, and for a moment, her eyes widened with something like relief. But then fear washed over her face, and she shook her head. "Ethan, why did you come?" she whispered. My throat tightened. "What do you mean? You needed help." "No," she said quickly. "You shouldn't be here. He wants you here." Before I could respond, a slow clap echoed behind me. I spun around. There he was. The man, tall, thin, wearing a dark jacket that blended with the shadows. His face was partially lit by the single bulb, revealing a calm, almost gentle smile. "Good," he said softly. "You made it." I took a step forward. "What do you want from us?" He tilted his head slightly, studying me like I was an object he had ordered and finally received. "I want you to understand," he said. "You were never just an observer. You were part of her story. She thought choosing you would rewrite her past," he said. "She hoped being with you would erase what she did. But the past doesn't disappear just because we pretend it didn't happen." I clenched my fists. "Let her go." He smiled again. "I will, but not until you hear everything." Mia shook her head violently. "Ethan, please, don't let him." He cut her off with one quiet sentence. "She helped me find the others, but you were the one I couldn't reach." A chill stabbed through me. "What do you mean?" I asked. He stepped into the light, revealing more of his face. Calm, cold, almost patient. "She didn't just help me. She helped me look for you." My breath caught. Mia broke into sobs. "No, Ethan. I didn't know. I didn't know it was you." The world tilted. Everything blurred. I whispered the only thing my brain could form. "You were looking for me?" The man nodded slowly. "For years, for a few seconds, I couldn't speak, couldn't think, couldn't even breathe. He had been looking for me for years. It didn't make sense. I wasn't special. I wasn't connected to him. I had never met this man before in my life. But the way he stared at me, it was like he knew every part of my past, every mistake, every weakness. Mia sobbed harder, pulling her knees to her chest despite her tied hands. "I didn't know it was you," she cried. "I swear, Ethan, I didn't know." He looked down at her almost tenderly, like she was a pet he'd grown bored of. "She was useful," he said. "Scared, obedient, broken enough to do what I needed." I took a step forward, fury boiling inside me. "What did you want from her? And what the hell do you want from me?" He raised a hand slightly, not as a threat, but as if calming a child. "Understanding," he said. "That's all." Then he looked at Mia again. She believed she could escape her past by choosing you. But what she didn't realize, he turned back to me, is that you were part of her past all along. My mind raced. Fragmented memories surfaced. Things I hadn't thought about in years. A girl in my neighborhood when I was young. Someone who disappeared suddenly. Someone whose face I remembered only as fear and confusion. But Mia wasn't that girl. "She didn't take you," he continued. "But she was there when I did. She saw you, a child, terrified. She stayed silent. That silence cost her everything." The room began spinning. My legs felt weak. "I don't remember," I whispered. He nodded. "You weren't supposed to. But she did. That's why she attached herself to you. Not out of love, but guilt." Mia's voice cracked. "I tried to tell you. I tried so many times. but I was scared you'd hate me, like I hate myself. I didn't know what to feel. Rage? Betrayal? Pain? Or the crushing weight of a truth too heavy to hold? Before I could respond, he crouched beside Mia. "You see," he murmured, "she thinks saving you now will undo what happened years ago. But trauma doesn't disappear. It only waits." I lunged forward, grabbing him by the jacket and slamming him against the wall. "For years, you destroyed her life. You tried to destroy mine. Why? Why us?" He didn't fight back. He didn't resist. He only smiled. Slow, cold, patient. Because broken people are easy to shape. His words made my skin crawl. Before I could do anything else, police sirens echoed outside. Red and blue lights flashed through the cracks in the walls. Someone had called them. Maybe a neighbor. Maybe fate again. Maybe even Mia's roommate who suspected something was wrong. Officers burst in moments later. They pulled me off him, restrained him, and cut Mia free. The man didn't resist the arrest. He watched me calmly as they let him out, like he was still in control of something I couldn't see. He said one last thing before disappearing through the doorway. "We'll meet again, Ethan. Broken things always find each other." The door shut behind him. Silence flooded the building. Mia sat on the floor, trembling, staring at her hands as if they belonged to someone else. I knelt beside her. She whispered, "I'm sorry." This time, I didn't answer. Not because I didn't care, but because the answer wasn't simple anymore. The police took our statements separately. An ambulance took Mia away for treatment. No one asked if I wanted to go with her, and maybe that was for the best. Hours later, when the sun began to rise, I found myself standing alone in the empty parking lot. The cold morning air felt cleaner somehow, but heavier too, like a chapter closing with pages torn out. Mia was safe now. The man who haunted her, and unknowingly haunted me, was gone. But something had changed forever.